My marriage is bad. I don't want a bad relationship with my marriage anymore. I don't like my job. I'm overweight. I'm bored. I don't want to live like this anymore. I'm tired of being broke. Okay, great. But what do you want?
Hey, everybody. I am live with Jackie Armstrong. Hey, Jackie.
Hello. Good to be here. This is awesome. I love the group. I love the name, What the 50.
Thank you. I do too. So
yes.
Thank you very much. And I'm glad you're in the group. Thank you for accepting my invite. So yes. I am going to introduce you to everyone in this group.
Awesome.
My glasses on. I'm just going to read your bio if that's okay with you.
Perfect.
All right. So here we go. At 22 years old, Jackie found herself as a divorced single mom. She remarried the love of her life when her daughter was 13. At 40, Jackie became an empty nester. That's early. For 5 years, she lived with no real passion or purpose. Jackie was now at a place where she could live a life that was just for her. The problem was she didn't know who she was outside of her titles and roles that she had been living from. Jackie realized that after all the years of taking care of her daughter, being a wife and a business owner, she had spent virtually no time taking care of herself or asking herself what she wanted. Oh, I get that. Until she had a moment when she decided, I cannot live like this anymore. So Jackie, now 57, that she also calls 50 heaven.
That's right, 50 heaven.
is living out this whole new chapter that she's designing, and she's living with more passion and more purpose than she believed possible. So now for the past 10 years, she's been helping women reignite their passions and map out their new dream lives and start living it. I love this, Jackie. So welcome. Thank you for being here with me. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to bring you into the group, have you introduce yourself and share with us what it is you do very specifically with your clients in regard to these dream boards that you have, vision boards. You've got one right behind you. And I want you to kind of go into that. So I introed you with that beautiful bio, but go ahead and share whatever you'd like to share about yourself, anything else, and then just launch right into what you do with these vision boards or dream boards. What do you call them?
Well, yeah, they are dream boards. They are vision boards. I say more so dream life board. This is my life. You know, we have photo albums where we keep pictures and photos of the past. Our vision boards are the record and the photo albums for our future.
I love that.
The future that we are creating. And so there's a key point in my bio that you read there that I would like to just point out. And this is where I start in my workshops is we must say yes to ourselves. We must give ourselves permission to say yes to ourselves. It wasn't until that point that was when I said, I just can't live like this anymore.
Yeah. Why is it so hard for us women to say yes to ourselves?
We give birth, we bring life, and we just kind of just go into that mode, and it becomes it is us, but it consumes us so much so that we forget about our own selves.
Yes.
And I know that I'm not preaching to the choir. I have done this long enough now and had the privilege to be able to do the workshops online too, like 4 and 5 day workshops where we're together every day for at least an hour and going through major steps. And the story is the same, right? We might have a little bit of some different language to it. And that's why I appreciate you in this group. That's why I appreciate being on a podcast that's What the 50, because we know women that are in this age category are listening. And my desire is to be able to bring as much freedom to as many women as I possibly can, because I am not alone in my old story.
You're absolutely right. And your old story that you told yourself for years and years and years, you finally figured out that's not serving me.
Nope.
And if you could define what that story in one sentence, what was that story that you were living?
I needed to serve in order to be loved and get to feel worth and value. Yeah, to get my worth and value. And it morphs into a lot of different things for many different women. I was a people pleaser. You know, hi, my name's Jackie. I'm a recovering people pleaser, is what I used to say.
Yeah.
or that I'm a chameleon and I would be whatever somebody needed. And I was proud of that. But I didn't know who I was. Who is Jackie outside of everything that she does and everything that she gives? What do you want? What do you want? What do I really want? I had no idea. I could tell you a machine gun list instantly of everything that I didn't want. And that a lot of the times is the case as well. We can tell you, well, I know I don't want my marriage is bad. I don't want a bad relationship with my marriage anymore. I don't like my job. I'm overweight. I'm bored. I don't want to live like this anymore. I'm tired of being broke. Okay, great. But what do you want?
Right.
So that's where it starts with me. In the first thing that I do, as a matter of fact, I'm now offering this first step for free. And if you can put it the notes in somewhere or something, a link. It's a passion map. It's a passion map exercise. And this is one of the things that, so, all this trial that I've gone through, how I got to where I'm at today is through all the years and pain and money of therapy and counseling and coaching. One of the processes that we've used along the way, which I've now just totally developed and made my own, is a passion word exercise.
Okay.
And like I said, we start off, even before you go to do this exercise, there's no dumb answer. Don't edit yourself. We have to really give ourselves permission. Invite that young place in there, that young girl, right? Who knows who we really are and what we love doing, what brings us joy, what fills your cup. And it doesn't it doesn't have to be something that makes money. It doesn't have to be, it's more than likely, it's not something that serves anybody else but you. But here's the good part about that. When we get to the place of recovering our own hearts and we start filling our own cups, we know it brings us joy. I'm going to tell you, I am a way better wife, a way better mother, a way better friend. Let me rephrase that better. I'm a fuller. I'm more me.
Yeah.
I want to be around me now. When you're miserable and you're in your pity party and, it's everybody's fault and blah, you don't like anything, you're maybe that's not everybody's story, because I have talked to women that wasn't their story. They had a great career and all that, but there's still this thing, there's something missing. Like, yes, I truly don't know what brings me joy. This is not filling me anymore. And we're talking about being in midlife. Another term that I've heard recently that I love, we're in middle essence.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And it's what brought me joy. If I did know back then, and even if it's a good thing, it's okay to say no to that.
Right.
It's okay to make a shift. Now, when we get to be in our 50s, it might be a little harder to make that shift and feel a little scarier because, okay, I'm a dental lab owner. I have made teeth my entire life. I started when I was 15 years old. Besides a few extra little things that I did along the way, like the military and waiting on tables, this has been the source of what I've done. I know this.
Right.
I know it. I can just about do it with my eyes closed. So to say no to something that's been good and that has been the provision, the financial career, there can be guilt with that, right? We don't feel like, well, this wasn't my story, but I've heard this. I don't feel guilty about leaving my own story, but there are some who have said my life is really good. I feel guilty for not being satisfied.
Right.
No, what do you want? What do you really want?
Yeah. And that resonates with me because I hit a point where I finally asked myself several years ago, what do I want? And it was shocking to me to actually have to admit, I don't know what I want. I don't know what the hell I want. I wrote about this in my book. What do I want? Are you serious? I've never given myself permission once in my life to ask myself what I want. I never really, I mean, maybe I asked myself, but I didn't give myself permission to actually live what I wanted. And so that kind of repressed thing came out in all sorts of unhealthy behaviors with me for many, many years. And so when I finally asked myself, what do I really want? And then dared to step into that, then I really got free. So what do you want? I mean, that's so key for so many women our age, because we were trained, taught, and educated to really stay small.
Yes. Yeah. Right? And some with intention, but some unintentional as well.
Yes. Dawn says, I think it's hard to figure it out after a life of doing for others. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
It's hard to figure it out.
This is why we need each other. This is why we need coaching. I'm telling you. So this was the first time I had hired a coach after the marriage was a wreck. And I really didn't, that was my second marriage, the one I'm currently still in, 23 years now. We really like each other. But there was a point when we didn't. So we went to go see marriage counseling, and the counselor said, well, I can counsel you as a couple, but you really need separate therapy. You need separate counseling, which was very true. So we worked on our own stuff. Yeah. Eventually came together, had some marriage counseling, and then got some healing, got some freedom, got some more life to my own heart, and decided, okay, I think maybe I want to. So this is one of the things that starts happening when you start saying yes to yourself and giving yourself that permission. Don't thwart those inklings. Don't thwart those things that are like, oh, maybe I should do that. I mean, unless it's something like your life going to put your life in danger. But so my thought was, I wanted to expand my dental lab business. So I hired a business coach. Well, the first thing they started talking about was my heart, and where was my heart in all this? And what was my mindset on money and love and business, just all the things. I'm like, just give me the tactics. I wanted to expand my business. Yeah. Well, as the course went on, I was in group coaching with them, and one of the last times we were together, the coach, we're in conversation. I don't even know what prompted me to say this, other than I'd been on the journey of saying yes to myself and not thwarting that young voice in there. And I said, yeah, I think someday I think I want to have a vision board retreat at my house. And as a good coach does, she said, well, when are you going to do that? There was it seemed like a forever moment of silence, because I'm like, it was just an idea. I wasn't even, confident enough to go any further with that. Well, there were a couple of women that were in the group. They said, well, I would come to your vision board workshop, or whatever it was called at the time. Had my first one in my living room, and now I have had some in-person live, in conference rooms. Then we had the shutdown, and now I've been doing them online quarterly. Yeah. So this is kind of the meat of your coaching business, is doing these vision boards with women. Yes. And so the first step is what you mentioned is your free offer, the passion map. Yes. Is that the first exercise that they do before they go on and start creating the vision board? Oh, the vision board. See, here's the thing. The vision board is the very last thing that we do. Okay. We really prepare our hearts, because what I have seen is vision boards that are filled with a bunch of to-dos. Okay. I'm pointing to my vision board. Do I have work to do to reach my vision? Yes. But my vision is a core of who I am now. It's just not tasks and to-dos. And it's a long process. This couple of weeks ago, I had an in-person one, and it was so fun watching the lights come on. And when we got to the time of creating the actual vision board, you're creating how you want to feel, how you're going to feel when you're living that out, you know, and there's words and pictures that are attached to that. And we find out, where are you at today? And on a scale of 1 to 10, I use like the GPS as a metaphor. We're going on a trip. We got to know, where are we starting and where are we going? And we got to clear out some stuff. Yeah. Before we can even start programming the GPS.
Well, yeah, you got to deprogram your mind in order to program it correctly. Because
so that's all a part of the process. I mean, I have a lot of the comments that I get back when I have somebody fill out a survey is they're like, wow, way deeper and more than what I had expected. And now then I get to work with a lot of these women. So I have some packages and group coaching. So we're together, and we need this. We all need this. People me, you, whoever, there's not a single person in this world that doesn't need somebody to come alongside them, to be coaching them, cheering them on, helping them redirect and all of that. And so the women that I've had the privilege to work with, they're the ones that have this victory, are now living out this life. Wow. It's so fun to be able to be a part of it.
Yeah. Very cool. I can imagine. So the things represented on each person's vision board is it could be a 1 month goal. It could be a year goal. It could be a life goal. It could be a combination of all the above, right? There's no right or wrong. It's just basically, it is the tangible visual of what they truly want.
Yes.
Right?
So my vision board, I have some things that I know are a little bit further out there for me to achieve, but I keep them in front of me so that I remember when the hard things come. Oh yes, I'm still going. It's like you're on the east coast and you're going to California. You got a family trip planned. This thing, you've been planning this thing for years, right? You're going on a road trip. You got whatever, maybe 3 weeks off. The kids are all excited. You got the car all packed. You're on the road. You got your map. You know where you're starting. You know where you're ending. You got the GPS. You're driving along. And all of a sudden you run into a road closed.
Yep.
Well, you're not just going to pack up and go home. You're going to find another way around because you have the GPS programmed. You know where you're going. So this bigger vision, the end game, you know, where I am going, I'm just going to say that because I see this happening. And that's another part of having a vision board. You have to really sit with it and allow yourself to envision that in your mind and create those emotions in your body that are going to help you to go and do the things that you need to do and not do. Let's say we're in our 50s. I said at 50, I want to be healthier at 60 than I was at 50. Well, you know what? I needed to not be sitting on the couch eating bonbons and watching soap operas. I mean, that wasn't the case, but my why had to be bigger than.
Oh yeah. I was just going to talk about the why. And I love the metaphor of you're on a road trip and you hit a road closed or roadblock. You don't turn around and go home. But so many of us who have goals, like for example, weight loss goals or fitness goals or career goals, when we hit a roadblock, we give up. Like I guess that won't work for me or, whatever. But I think we have to dig deeper. It's beyond the what do you want? It's the why do you want it? And when you attach the why to the what, then you really find your passion. And that's what keeps you going. And with you've created the visual that's in front of them every single day. So they remember their what and their why. So I really love that.
Key. It's so key. And when we run into those roadblocks, which we all do.
Yeah. Yep. Every day.
I mean, hello, have I not had 57 years worth of programming into my little mind? And sometimes my mind is pretty set in a certain way to do things, and stepping outside of that feels uncomfortable.
Totally.
But so which is worse? Being uncomfortable momentarily, or having the regret, having that feeling of regret because you didn't take that step, right? We can still do it again, but man, or take the step later, but I don't want to live with any more regrets like that. And I think you and I have had this conversation that time seems to be going faster the older we get.
Yeah, it's very true. Yep.
So, hey, I ain't messing around.
I mean, I'm already 56 and I'm like, well, wait a minute. Aren't I just 50? I feel like I just turned 50 and I'm 56.
I know.
So I'm closer to 60 than I am to 50. So now I'm like thinking, okay, I got to change like my name from what the 50 to like what the 50-ish, right? Headed towards 60. So
Yes.
it's a weird thing. Time does fly for sure. And you're so right about the programming. I mean, once you hit a certain age, it is very challenging to reprogram your mind. It really, really is. It's not easy. And what I have found is that I have some stories that are so deeply ingrained into my psyche. I've accepted it, but I know that I need to wake up every single day and do battle with that story.
Be intentional.
Be intentional.
Yes.
Totally. I mean, I fall into certain default behaviors, patterns, and things that I say every day. I fall into it every single day, but it's now I'm aware.
Yes.
And I know how to get out of it. And I know how to create the kind of ending that I want because I'm intentional, like you said. Yeah. But boy, programming is huge.
And we need someone to help us to see these things. Like I was a victim to my circumstance. There, for me, in my mind,
yes,
there was no way out.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
we need others to help us to see, no, that's not true.
So with these vision boards, you said it's the last thing that you do in the whole process. And what's it take? How many days does this take typically? Or do you, I mean, you can condense it, obviously, right? You can do like a mini class on it.
I really, or usually when I was doing them online, I do like doing them in person so much. It's better because we're going deeper, doing a weekend retreat, like a Thursday to a Sunday night or a Friday to a Monday morning, because we're walking through a lot of steps, a lot of layers. We're talking about our defaults and reprogramming our defaults and really understanding how ingrained that is in us. And then really working on being honest with ourselves. Where are you? Really evaluating. Okay, I'll pick on finances. You know, you want to live debt free. Well, where are you at right now? We have to be real on a scale of 1 to 10. How far away are you? Because we can't shove it under the blanket in the couch or in the drawer. You know, we can't shove those bills in the drawers anymore. We got to look at it.
That's right. That is one thing that so many people struggle with. They want to, pretend that things are a certain way when they're really not. And our coaching programs and methods sound very, very similar, because one thing I do in the beginning is I have them evaluate what's your current reality. What is your current reality in all 4 pillars? And for me, I use physical, relational, spiritual, and financial, those 4 pillars. What is your current reality? Get brutally honest. If it's ugly and gross and embarrassing, that's okay. Yeah. You just got to put it out there. What's your situation? How in debt are you?
Yep.
Name the number. Only then can you come up with a plan to become free. So I love.
What are you aiming at? If you aim at nothing, you will hit it every time. So I do archery with my husband, and I mean, it's very important to know where your target is.
So you've got a very convenient built-in metaphor there that you can use archery.
I know. I'm looking at an arrow on the other side of the room that my husband made for me too, for that very reason. I mean, that is it.
Yeah.
And part of the process when you're pulling the bow, there's that resistance. You got to get past, get past this breaking point and it finally releases. Hello, that's part of our process too. We have to get back. We have to get past that point where this is hard. I can't do it. Yeah. Oh, and then you're ready to release.
Yep. Yep.
Oh.
That. So what do you say to women, Jackie, who tell you, you know what, I'm just too old. I'm not going to change. It's okay. I'd like to, but I know nothing ever changes for me. Like, what do you say when you hear that?
What if you
I've
weren't
heard a
too old?
lot.
What if you weren't too old? Literally asking that question. What if you weren't too old? What would you do? Because when oh, well, if I wasn't too old, this is what I would do. Oh, we got all kinds of answers.
Yeah.
Stay there. And then, and especially if you're doing a video recording of it, play it back for them to see the vibrancy and the energy change on their, it physically changes.
Yeah. I love
because
that.
we're not looking at the block. We're not thinking, I'm too old. I'm too dumb. I mean, I'm too old. I said that. I'm too old to change a new career. I've been doing this forever. I can't learn anything new. Are you kidding me? Technology?
Yep.
It's a big, fat, hairy lie. Now, this is great. So I'll be in here in my little office and I'll be doing something, and my podcast or my funnel or whatever it is. And I'm like, I figured something else out. I run out and tell my husband, I'm celebrating these things now too, right? And that's another part of the important process, to celebrate our small wins, no matter how small it is, because we'll be the first to go, oh, that was a good move. That was dumb. Why'd you do that? No, let's retrain. That's part of it. Retraining yourself. No. Oh my gosh. I did it right this time. I remembered that step, or I didn't eat the extra stuff last night. I did exercise at least 15 minutes. I didn't buy those shoes, even though they were on sale, and I would have saved a lot of money.
Because your brain believes whatever it is you tell it.
Ooh, man. So it listens to our voice and believes our voice more than it believes anybody else's voice.
And then we start acting in alignment with the things that we're telling ourselves. I mean,
self-fulfilling prophecy.
We all know this. And there's more. The great news is there are more and more women our age who are waking up.
Yes.
All you have to do is look all over Instagram and TikTok. There's women our age who are like promoting this hard, just like you and I both are. And I love it, because the more, the better. The more of us wake up and say, we don't have to do this anymore. We don't have to accept this kind of these stories and these lies and the, I can't dream. That's for somebody else.
I'm too old. I had a gal. She was a farmer's wife, and it grieves me. It makes me so sad. But she couldn't get past her belief. She said, "I'm afraid to dream."
Mm-hmm. It's scary.
It is scary. And she's like, this is all that I've ever known. She was, I think, 69 years old, 68, somewhere like that, but so dissatisfied. But see, the only person that I can change is myself.
Yep.
And we need to remember that. But here's the good part of that, the other side of that coin, the good part. You could be in a rough marriage. Not always. I'm not saying this always. The other person has to have some willingness to go forward as well, or a relationship with a friend, and you start getting free and changing your own relationship with yourself. Because we do start attracting.
Oh, absolutely.
We do not start. We are always attracting who we believe that we are.
Yes.
So the other part of this thing that gets weaved in my conversations in the course, through the course, is you have to make yourself a non-negotiable. I need to up this too, but right now I have a quarterly date night with myself. It's weird because it's been something, it's not as weird anymore, but I went to the movies for the first time by myself, and that was like, you get to know yourself.
Oh yeah. Yes. I love that idea. Actually, that sounds like fun, like to get away just with myself. And because the older I get, the more introverted I get. It's really weird.
Yes, I know.
I love being alone in my own head, and that's when I get super creative. So I love that idea. I agree with what you said. We attract exactly what we put out, what the energy is real, right?
Yes,
We're always attracting energy, and we're attracting like energy. So if we're negative and grumpy and blah, we're attracting that right back.
Yeah.
So you can change the dynamic of a relationship that you're in by just by changing your energy, right?
Yeah.
So that helps a lot of people. I'm really glad you brought that up. Sometimes it doesn't, sometimes you're just with somebody, like I was in a marriage that was just like, he was just never going to change no matter what. And
that's when we have to stand to our new boundaries that we're putting up and continue to love ourselves. Because you know what? When we start saying yes to ourselves, that means we're saying no to a bunch of things that we used to say yes to. And guess what? People are going to be a little bit ticked off because you're saying no when you've always been the yes person.
Yeah.
Well, okay, at least that's my story.
Yes. When you've been a codependent yes person your whole life and you start saying no, you start putting a boundary line there, people get really pissed off.
Yes.
And then they're going to try to manipulate you back into being the yes person and the codependent because they needed that fueled them in some way, right? So you disrupt that chain of events and it throws everybody off big time.
And if they truly love you, because I've had some family relations where I had to put up some boundaries, and it was hard. I couldn't divorce my family. I mean, I guess I could, but I didn't desire that. So it was rough. But it starts coming around, and it's amazing how life-giving the relationship is now both ways.
Yeah. I put a quote up on Instagram today. I can't pull it up right now, but it says, you're living the exact life that you're tolerating.
Oh, yes.
That's paraphrasing
like
it,
that.
but yeah, you're living the exact life that you tolerate, that you're willing to tolerate, or you're willing to put up with. And that's so true. So true.
And that goes with willing to tolerate. And this is, I'm just speaking my own story, willing to tolerate an extra 10 pounds.
Yep.
It's fun to see the memes that say, yeah, I knew I should have went to the gym today, but my sweatpants were saying, nah, girl, you can stay home. And, like, well, okay. Yeah. It's cute. And that's kind of funny. But...
It is funny. It is funny. And I love that kind of humor. And I love I'm so into self-deprecating type humor. It's like my jam. I'm really good at it. But at the same time, I coach the exact opposite thing.
It speaks some serious truth.
Yeah. I'm kind of stuck in this little conundrum because I'm a big self-deprecating person, but at the same time, I'm coaching the opposite. So I have to be careful. But I've heard, it's just like when women are like, well, must be nice to look like you.
Oh,
really? And I'm not saying I have the perfect physique because I don't. And I put some weight on since over the holidays. But anyway, but before that, oh, it must be nice to look like you. Well, here's the reality. Yeah. I've been going to the gym consistently for 35 years and lifting weight, even all 5 times I was pregnant. So do you really want to look this way? Because if you really want to look this way, you will actually do the work that's required to look that way.
That's right.
You have to ask yourself, do you really want that? Like, do you want to lose that 10 pounds? If you really don't, then that's okay. But if you really do, do the work, right? Because you're living the life that you are tolerating, right?
And it's our outside circumstances are not what's going to make us happy.
No.
Why do you want to lose the 10 pounds? If it's coming from an inside source, that's what's going to help you to make that change.
That's right.
And, when I made this decision that I want to be healthier at 60 than I was at 50, it was very real and very personal to me. And it has been what has kept me going. It wasn't about, I mean, are the outward results what I desire? Yes. But I personally, now that I have this new dream and desire and a zeal for life, I got to have a body that's going to be able to keep up with all that I desire to do.
That's so true, because you know what? I think the older we get, the more, if we go through this process, we give ourselves permission to dream. And then all of a sudden, if you're anything like me, I have so many things I want to do. So many things. And I'm like, and I don't have a lot of time left. So all these things I want to do.
Yes.
If your body has to be able to keep up. Yeah. And the closer, you know, as we creep up on 60, we're going to have new health problems that are just inherent with that age, right? They don't have to be, but we do die.
Yes, exactly. Here's the bad news.
Here's the bad news, ladies.
No one's getting out alive.
Right. We're all going to die. So our bodies are going to deteriorate and shut down eventually, and we will die. We get it. But we want to stay healthy long enough.
That's right.
We want to do the things that we didn't do for 30 years because we were too afraid. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad you said that. I mean, it's not about looking skinny or being like a size 2. It's really about having longevity and having health and being able to do the things you want to do.
Yes. Yes.
So I know we're at a half an hour mark. I don't know. I don't see any more questions or comments in the chat unless it's just not showing. But if anyone has a question, we would love to open it up to any questions. Type them in the chat. But before we let you go, Jackie, how can people find you?
Well, Jackie Armstrong on Facebook, Jackie, who am I on Instagram? You got on my thing. Yeah, I always forget all these. I need to look it up myself. I know. That's pretty sad. Jackie Armstrong Consulting, Jackie Armstrong Coaching. I can't remember now which one it is.
It's consulting.
Website.
Jackie Armstrong Consulting.com, because you corrected me on that. But people can find you on Instagram. Just if they type in Jackie Armstrong, you come up. On Facebook, same thing. Reach out if anyone's interested. Like you mentioned, you have a free offer. It's the Passion Map exercise.
Yes.
And so
it's not, this is some meaty stuff. I'll tell you, I'm really super passionate about this particular step.
Okay.
You get a printable PDF as well as a video where I walk you through that. And once you finish that, and I promise, so you'll be on my email list. I promise you're not going to get bombarded with emails, because that's not, I'm not good at that anyhow.
Yeah.
Thing connected like I desire. But then I have a second video as well that helps you to go and dig even a little bit deeper.
I love
it. A different exercise.
Well, I'm going to get that exercise and I'm going to do it.
Awesome. And, feel free if you share it and whatever.
I'll get the link from you for that particular grab so they can go on there, grab it, and I'll put it in here in the comments.
Excellent.
Yes. We're done.
Good.
Yeah. Shoot me that. And I'll put that in the comments. And
I think you should have it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it in your bio?
Yep.
I'll find it. Yep. I'll put it in there.
Yes.
So, and then if anyone wants to just take a course with you, they would reach you the same way. Just reach out.
Absolutely.
It's okay.
Go to my website. There's all kinds of, there's testimonies there. There's a dream questionnaire for you to fill out to see if you do want to work with me, if it's something that you desire, and a dream quiz. It's fun. It's really good. And this has been good. I tell you, when you start saying yes to yourself, I get to meet these women like yourself. And this has been a blessing for me to be able to be here.
And me too. And you and I found each other on Instagram.
Yep.
Because we kind of have the same, probably same algorithm, same niche. And we found
watching us.
Yeah. And I recorded a podcast with you last week on the name of your podcast is, tell us that again.
Midlife Dream Life.
Midlife Dream Life. Okay. And they can find you on Spotify, iTunes. Was that it? Just those two, right?
Correct.
Okay,
Yep.
so Midlife Dream Life, Spotify and iTunes.
When you say iTunes, you mean Apple, right?
I'm sorry. Yeah, isn't that what I mean? No, I meant.
I'm not sure. It's Apple Podcasts and Spotify is.
Okay.
So, and again, all of that is on my website too. If you want to link to, there's like little snippets there of what the show was. I've had 8 or 9 of them that are listed on there now. So
excellent.
Yes, and ours will be coming up soon too. I'm excited about it. It was a great conversation for sure.
That was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
We went pretty deep on that.
Yes.
So what I'm going to actually do is take this video and create my podcast for my next episode.
That's great.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun. So let me just check the questions really quick. So any final words, Jackie, for somebody a woman of a certain age who needs to start over and doesn't even know where to begin? Any parting words for somebody like that who just needs that shot of encouragement?
Yeah, you know what? And here's the thing. Just saying yes and allowing yourself to feel that and asking the question, what would I like to do right now? I mean, I went on all kinds of places and they got me out of I was still doing my dental lab work. I went and did like wine and sign. I signed up. I was one of those women who brought all the paint and the boards, and I did those parties, and it was great. I mean, I loved it. And I realized, this isn't totally what I want to do, but that's okay. I said yes, and I at least discovered one thing that, I enjoyed it. I loved being with the women, and that was part of the deal. So I was finding out more and more of what I truly wanted, right? I love making jewelry, and I thought, maybe I'm going to make jewelry and own my own little shop. And I still like to make some pieces of jewelry for very specific friends, but I'm not doing that for a living, right? But just saying yes and trying these little things. And if you want to knit, take up knitting. If you want to go paint somewhere.
Just say yes. Say yes.
Just say yes.
And that's my word for this year. I chose, it kind of goes along with this, and it was a weird thing I chose, but I chose try, because it's not like I'm going to try, and if I fail, I'm not going to try anymore. That's not what I mean. I'm going to try everything that I feel like doing.
Wow.
So I'm going to say yes.
Wow. Oh my God.
Yes. Because why not? And you know what? If you fall down and if you look stupid, who cares? Like we said, we're all going to die anyways.
Nobody's getting out alive.
Who cares? So say yes. I love it. Yep. That's going to be the title for this podcast too. Say yes.
That's good. I like it.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Jackie Armstrong. Midlife.
Yes. Well, thank you for this.
Joining me. Really appreciate it. So you guys can find her on her podcast, on Instagram, on Facebook. Are you on TikTok?
No.
Well,
I am, but I don't go there. So, I'm on there because I record videos there.
TikTok's a weird little place. I love it over there. I love it. Anyway, well, thank you so much. And I look forward to more conversations with you in the future. Well, there you have it. Thank you so much for listening. And please, if you enjoyed the program today, please feel free to share. I appreciate you. Get out there and start living your best damn life. Until next time, take care.